In this video, we're going to talk about lights in 3D Studio Max using the Arnold renderer. So we already introduced the various lights that we can use in 3ds Max, and in this video we're going to concentrate more in the Arnold lights. So we use the photometric, we use the standard lights to see which one works the best. And of course we need to, if we want to have the best results, we need to use Arnold lights. We are going to see how we can use different effects and techniques. And again, you need to go in the create panel and in the light section. And we saw there the photometric light, which also works. So we started with the photometric in the previous video, and we just give a quick look to the standard and the Arnold light. But we saw that the most important parameters are always there. So whether you use Arnold light or standard or photometric, the light types are pretty much the same. You just need to change some values. You need to see which parameter is the most important. So we also talked about global illumination and how it works, how it's composed of direct and indirect lighting. So we're gonna set up a scene here where we can continue to test our Arnold lights using, again, the direct and indirect lighting, which is the way that every light behaves in a 3D environment using these advanced render engines, which means that it's not gonna only hit the surfaces in a direct fashion, but it's also gonna bounce around the scene, and it's going to create color bleeding effects. So it's gonna take the colors of and the materials with it, and it's gonna create a more realistic look to your render. Now the technique that we're gonna start with, it's called the 3-point lighting technique, and I think this is really the basic technique that you need to know to proceed and then customize, create your own type of lighting setup. But this is really easy to understand, easy to use, and you can really play a lot with this, and it's going to give you excellent results in terms of lighting. And usually this is, you can see, applied in many situations, which could be photography, cinema, movies, TV shows, TV series, and you will find a lot of examples about this 3-point lighting technique. We're gonna test it on a simple scene, which is gonna be like a studio, like photographic studio, and we're gonna test it on a single object or subject. So you need to place the object or subject, or you can also use it with more subjects. Like if you want to do advertising or marketing, you want to place a product and you want to display it and you want to show it, you want to visualize it, you can do it. So you can use it with people, models, you can use it with industrial design, objects. So that the point here, the goal is to enhance the subject. So it could be done with a really strong light and really focused light. It can be done also with other type of lights, and you will try to give that three-dimensional look to your scene, to your object. You can see here again many examples, and the combination of these lights are gonna give you like that. You can see here like three-dimensional effect. So it's a combination of three lights, which are the key light, the fill light, and the backlight. And then we're gonna explain how everything works, and we're gonna try to build up a photographic studio like that. So you can see that in a photographic studio you have different types of lights. Some of those are pretty focused and directional. Other, like the fill light, are usually more diffused, and they're just placed to get rid of some shadows to create like a more flat and clean image. So usually the key light is going to be a concentrated light, the fill light is going to be a more diffuse light, and then we have the backlight coming from behind, which is displayed in red in this picture, which is going to detach the subject from the background. This technique use also a lot in black and white movies, which I think there are great examples in black and white movies on how to use the light and various lighting techniques that we can simulate in the 3D world, in the virtual world. So we will start by placing this slide and setting up the set and using this really simple technique. And then we're gonna like also customize it, adding more lights. You can add more lights, but these are the basic 3 lights that I think you need to set up. So again, key light, and this is usually used to enhance details of your subject. So when you have a stronger light, which is more concentrated, you're gonna enhance the details. And that's the thing we're gonna start with. You can also keep just the fill light. So we're gonna need a subject. So I'm gonna go in 3drenderpeople.com and we'll download 3D people here so that we can use it as a subject. We already done that, so we can just reuse here the Sophia model. And you can see we already have different render engines here like Corona, Octane, V-Ray, but we're gonna go for native because Arnold at the moment is the native renderer in 3ds Max. So hopefully it's already set up for us. Otherwise, we just need to fix it. We're just gonna see if it's gonna work like that. So just wait a few seconds because it's gonna be like a big mesh. So there you go. It has a lot of polygons, and also hopefully it's gonna upload the textures as well. Otherwise, there you go. Yeah. Otherwise, you need to recreate the material. So if you don't see the texture, don't worry, we're gonna talk about materials and textures later to see how everything works. And then I'm gonna create the set, and I'm gonna do this real simple. So just gonna create a rectangle. This is gonna be real easy to do it in 3ds Max. Just need an extrusion. So I will place this so that it's gonna become both my floor and my back wall. So I'm going to edit the spline here. So convert this into editable spline, select the segments, get rid of the front wall, and you can keep the ceiling if you want, or you can just, create something a little bit different if you want. Now, this is not a complete background, but it's going to take care of the front. So in the back, we're just going to have like a black scene, but we're going to also do more example later, talking about the rendering, how you can render a single object using a single image. That's called image-based lighting, and it's called also HDRI setup, but we're gonna talk about that later. I'm just gonna extrude this shape that I've created. It's gonna be an open shape, and it's gonna be a simple surface that's not a solid, but that's fine. So let's just change the color, and for now we're gonna use just the color, and again later on we will also talk about the materials, so not simple colors. But for this example, we can start with a simple color for the background there. And now I'm gonna move into the lights, select Arno lights, and start to place the first light, which is gonna be eventually our, well, let's start with the light coming from, you can see that from the back. So now let's change this into a sky dome. So, well, actually you can add a sky dome if you don't want like pitch black situation, so when everything is so black. Now we already said that the sky dome doesn't matter where you place it. It's not a position light, so you can place it anywhere. It's just going to give you a little bit of lighting, a diffuse lighting, so it will not look like a light, but it would just light up the entire scene using color, which could be like color coming from the sky or the outside, and it's getting into your room and is